Perfect. Awesome. Great.
And I got this.
Cool.
We're
Awesome.
good.
Good to go. All right. Well, I wanted to start first of all by thanking you for joining me today and tell us a little about you and your career and your goals and your ambitions. So I appreciate that. I wanted to tell people a little bit and yourself too what I've been doing. As I have a big following here on Instagram, I've been doing live videos with local business owners here in Southwest Florida, where I live, so that local business can kind of showcase their business, their services, their products, and hopefully get clients into their businesses and help them through the economy that we're facing, right? And then as a treat to my followers and to all the people that kind of see all these business videos throughout the week, I try to have an entertainer in, someone that can kind of give us some good times, and so I've had, as you know, I've had Jay Allen here, I had Lewis Bryce here. I had a couple other athletes here as well speak to us. And then today we're lucky enough to have you. So thank you again for being here. And I wanted to kind of start by asking, who are you? And if you can kind of give us a little bit of a background of who you are and your history.
All right. So my name's Kendal Conrad. I am a singer-songwriter. I'm a country artist, but I really pull in a lot of different elements from other genres. Like I really pull from pop and R&B. So sometimes when I say I'm a country artist, people are like, "Oh my God, I hate country music," and I'm like, "Are you talking like Johnny Cash? Because that was like, how many years ago?" I think people have a very narrow idea of what country music now is. It's like so many different things. It's Florida Georgia Line and Taylor Swift, but then it's like Chris Stapleton. There's so many different like kinds of country, like with pop. There's so many
Right.
different kinds of pop too. So I am a pop country artist um, from Pennsylvania. I actually just sang the anthem for the Philadelphia Phillies spring training in Clearwater.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the last cool thing that I did before the
Well, before this, you mean before this? There was the last.
literally, yeah, literally we were on the plane to Florida and we were coming back on like the 11th, March 11th, and Pennsylvania shut down on like the 17th. And I remember we were flying back and no one around us was worried. No one was talking about it. No one was wearing masks. And it's crazy like how it escalated so quickly.
Yeah.
Like when I think about it, it was like everyone was kind of joking about it and like, oh, we're gonna catch corona, and then and then it got so serious like days later. Which when I think about it, it's crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. So yeah, so I'm a pop country singer. I play gigs every weekend usually. Solo acoustic, just me and my guitar. Um, and yeah, that's basically it. Go back and forth to Nashville, which is kind of close to Florida, depending upon which part,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Denver.
More in the northern part of Florida. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically my deal in a nutshell.
Awesome. And how'd you get into music? How long have you been, um, I guess, singing and songwriting, and what was the thing that kind of led you to get into music?
So I grew up wanting to be a singer, just a singer. I wanted to be the next Mariah Carey. Like I wanted people to hear me and be like, wow, she can sing. Like that's
Yeah.
was always my goal. I picked up songwriting and guitar like much later. I always just wanted to sing. So that's kind of how it started. I joined the church and the school choirs and just got on stage and sang. And then in high school, I saw Taylor Swift on some TV show she was playing, and she's only a couple years older than me. And I saw her playing her guitar in like a sparkly dress and like big curly hair. And then I looked up the song and she wrote the song that she was singing. And I was like, wait, so she plays her own instrument, writes her own songs, and she's 17? I was like, I'm 15. I could do that. So that's kind of why I picked up guitar and wanted to write songs was because of Taylor Swift, which
Oh,
is funny.
nice.
Yeah,
And that's a good person to be inspired by too, right? Because she's very
yeah,
talented. So
yeah. And she's now, I mean, I think she always was even at a young age, but she's a very, very good businesswoman.
yeah,
Like it's not only just music, she's built a whole empire
yeah,
around herself. And it's like, oh, God, I want to do that.
yeah.
So yeah, she's inspiring on a lot of different levels.
Awesome. And I wanted you to tell us because I know, obviously when we touch base, you kind of told me about all these different artists that you performed with, or you're or part of it. I want you to kind of be able to share that with the public a little bit too.
I sent you like a novel.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's a lot of people. Some of them I had no idea who they were, but some, obviously I had to go there.
Well, some of them were like very, very much like country artists that
Yeah,
it's like if I brought them up, no one would know who they were unless you like not only listened to country but was were heavy in the country.
yeah,
So the biggest one was Blake Shelton,
yeah.
and that was
Which everybody should know who Blake Shelton is, right?
he's one of the chairs on The Voice.
Yeah. If you don't know, that's who he is.
He's dating Gwen Stefani.
Yep.
And he's very tall.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like 6'5" or something. He's very tall. I was wearing like really, really high stiletto heels for the show that I played with him. And I got to meet him beforehand and we were talking. And within these shoes, I was still like really looking up at him.
Yeah.
And I got a picture taken with him and my mom had to back way up to get us in the frame because he was so tall. Like he's massively tall.
Maybe that's why on the video, on the song that he has with Pitbull, they don't show him next to him because Pitbull is very short and he's really, really high, right? So he's really tall. So maybe that's why they're not next to each other.
Oh, 100%. 100%. That's it. It would be, yeah. Or they could put Pitbull in like a stack of books or something.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
he's really tall. But there was 18,000 people there. It was at the Dick's Sporting Goods Open, and
Yep.
they put the stage like next to the golf green, and you could see it was just a sea of people. Like what I couldn't even see the end of it. And that was the biggest show that I've done with I got to play a 20-25 minute set. So people actually got to hear my music, which was really cool. But the biggest show.
Was that nerve-wracking at all to have all that people kind of watching you? And
Um, I don't think I was.
no,
No, I was just like really I wasn't like cool and calm or anything like that, but it's more like a uh anxious to get on stage kind of thing. Like I was like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to do this. Like get me out there." Because like, you sound check, you wait around, you wait for, and then I think that day we were waiting for rain because it's outside.
yeah,
And we were waiting for this storm to pass for me to start. So then I had to wait even longer, and it was like, oh, it was painful.
yeah.
But no, I don't really get nervous for those shows. I get nervous for the anthem, just because of the experiences that other big names have had with it, like forgetting the words and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Like
then
if
it's
you
like,
remember, Fergie, she had a really bad experience with the anthem on the
yes.
NBA All-Star game.
Oh, I remember that.
And I don't think we've heard from her ever since, right? So I can understand that
Does she
it's
still do the
nerve-wracking.
Rockin' Eve?
Say that again.
Does she still do the Rockin' Eve, the New Year's Eve thing?
I don't remember seeing her. So
Yeah, I don't either. So
yeah,
you're right. That was probably the last we heard of her.
yeah, yeah,
But it's from stuff like that. It's where it's like it's scary,
yeah,
and all the people who've forgotten the words, and you're standing there with no music, with everyone in a stadium staring at you, and it's a highly respected song that is important. It's a symbol of our country, and
yeah.
you're gonna stand there and forget the words, and I'm like, oh, don't forget the words, don't forget the words.
I
So
think you
I
probably
get
make yourself nervous that you don't want to. You end up probably some people end up forgetting because they're so nervous about not forgetting. They end up forgetting what the words
that's
are.
that's exactly what I think, because the song, like artists have 90-minute concert sets, and there's no way they can't remember a 90-second song. There's
Yeah.
no way. So I agree with you. It's got to be, you just get so nervous you blank.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's the fear of forgetting itself.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
you psych yourself out.
Yeah.
But so no, I get nervous for the anthem, but for actual shows, like it's my own music, I'm cool, it's fine.
Cool.
But yeah, that was amazing.
Awesome. And that's the one that's in Pennsylvania, the exporting good that you mentioned with Blake Shelton.
That they I think they have it every year, and it's in Endicott, New York,
Okay.
which I forget where it is on the map, but yeah, it's Endicott. It's
Yeah,
near Bing.
I was wondering because I've been to Colorado, to Denver. Denver has a Dick's Sporting Goods uh, um, stadium or something too there, so
Oh,
that's why I was wondering. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that one. This one's in
All
New
right.
York, and they have it every year. So,
And
and
then
then
some of the other names.
I got to sing with Keith Urban,
Nice.
and I never get tired of bragging about it because he was amazing. And that one I didn't have a whole set, and I've been trying to open for him ever since that night. Like, Keith, I want a whole set opening for you. But I got to do "We Were Us," the duet that Miranda Lambert sings with him, and this was in Pennsylvania. This was at Music Fest,
Yeah.
and he mailed me a signed guitar after I
Nice.
signed with him. Yeah, and was
That's
spelled my
awesome.
name correctly. It was like, "Hey Kendall, thanks for singing with me," and I was like, you know what, Keith, anytime, anytime.
Let's do it again.
He was so cool. So that was honestly, I think that was the biggest show, at least in my mind, that I ever played. Even though there was only like 6,000 people, only 6,000 people there compared to 18 with Blake. For some reason, that one felt bigger to me. Maybe it's because it was the first big artist that gave me a shot.
Yeah.
So it meant a lot to me because I didn't have a whole lot on my resume when he asked me to do that.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of floored. So
And how do you get these gigs? Like how do you write to them? Do you have contacts that you say, hey, I'm a singer songwriter and I want to open up for you or I want to sing with you? How do you get that?
I wish it was that easy. So for the Keith Urban one, I'm a huge Keith Urban fan, so I follow him on all the things already. And it was on like Facebook that he posted and was like, "Hey, looking for people to sing with me on these dates." And it was like, film a video of you singing this song, choose which date you want to sing it, and send it in, and we're just going to pick people. There was like no fan voted, no, we're going to post the videos. There was not like, it wasn't endorsed by like a radio station. It was just send in your video and we're just going to call people. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, there's nothing, that I can lose in doing this. So I just emailed him the video. And like 2 days before, they called me. And it was amazing because I don't ever win anything or get picked for anything. So I feel like the universe, it was making up for all the things that
That you don't win. You're like, you don't win very often, but when you
it,
do, it's what you really want, right?
it was worth it. It was so worth it. I'm so glad I had won nothing. It was worth it for that one gig. Yeah, so that's how I got that one. And then the other ones, it's just, I think because now I've played so often that a lot of times I have my email on my Facebook, and it's on my website. And a lot of the times, booking agents and promoters are looking for local acts, to support artists, headliners in
Yeah.
the area who, maybe they haven't played there before. They're not sure if they have a huge fan base there and they want to sell tickets. So they reach out to local openers to
Yeah.
help them sell the tickets. And a lot of the times it's that. It's like cold emails from people or phone calls, whatever. And it's, we're looking for support on and that's probably why some of the names on there, like, you're like, who is this?
Yeah.
It's because it's like, it's country artists who are signed to huge labels like Sony, but they're new and no one really knows who they are, but they're on radio and they're on tour.
Yeah.
But they need help selling the tickets. So a lot of those, I get to play these huge, cool venues because they just need local openers. So, yeah, so
And I'm
that's
sure,
how I got those.
and I'm sure with the list that you have now, it kind of helps other ones as well, right? Because now they they feel they trust that you know you've done it before, and there was no you know videos that came out of it that would embarrass them in any way, so that you know they're confident that you can go in and do it right. So,
Right, right. And um like people move around so often in those booking agent jobs. Like I follow up on a contact that I made that was like a crucial contact who booked me something. And I'm like, "Hey, I see your company is booking, you know, whatever. You booked me for this and it was a success. Can you put me on that show?" And the email will bounce back and it's like, "Oh, he doesn't work here anymore." And
oh
it's
well,
like, yeah, and it's like 10 months later. So that's the other downside, is that you make a lot of connections that you are like, "Wow, this is going to really help me." And then that person like disappears.
yeah,
And you're like, "Man, I, you know, it's like that was a huge deal at the time." And it's like, I can't even, and then I know no one else in the company,
yeah.
just that, you know, that one point person, and he's gone. So, and then you run into that. It's just, it's such a weird business.
You know, the one thing that I found so far, at least with the you know with the country artists that I've spoken to, and even other ones, is that they are approachable though. You know, like sometimes you go talk to athletes, to football players or anything, they don't want to talk to you, right? Or it's very different. And then you know, I feel like with country artists that I've reached, okay, granted, I mean, I can't send an email to Blake Shelton and he's not going to respond it to me, most likely, right? But you know, like for example, with Lewis Bryce, I've been following him, and then I
Mm.
said, hey, you know, we want to do it live. Yeah, sure, let's do it. Jay Allen, same thing, right? Which I've reached out to, you know, professional football players, and they said, you know, they don't even respond, right? They don't even watch my email. So that's one of the things that I found, like that at least the experiences that I have so far is that you know they're a little bit more approachable and they seem more human, if you will, right? They're not in that
Mhm.
huge pedestal that they're like, oh, I'm too good to talk to you, or you know, I feel like that. You know, obviously they might not be able to do exactly what you want, but they're at least will respond to you and are willing to kind of you know see what you want, right? So
Yeah, yeah, I do. I haven't had a whole lot of experience with trying to speak with sports people, but yeah, I found pretty much across the board approachable. Country
yeah,
artists are approachable. Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's because we're very like home based, family based, like
yeah.
be good to people. I'm not really sure why that is, but have you reached out? Are you doing anything with like pop or any other genres that you could
No,
compare?
no, not
I'm
really.
just curious,
Not really.
you
Yeah.
know? If you reached out to
I don't know.
them and
Maybe that's different too. With different genres is a little bit different, right? I mean,
yeah.
I think I've reached out to you know big people that I don't think that would ever respond, like you know like a Pitbull or you know
Mhm.
I don't think he'll ever respond to me or anyone like that. But you know I someone who might be starting in pop or you know is not as big in pop right now, I haven't reached out to yet. So.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah. So I
Hmm.
wanted to ask you too. You know, you said obviously you do a lot of songwriting as well, and you know, it's one question that I asked the Lewis, the J too, is where do you get any inspiration from, and you know, what kind of drives you to write? What you know, is it things that you were feeling that time that you're writing? Is it things in your life? Do you try to maybe get stories from other people and think about it and make it into a song? You know, what is kind of what goes through your mind when you're writing? I guess.
Interesting. Usually it's um things in my life that I think would make a good story.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily things that I want to write about or things that I need to get off my chest or anything like that. It's, I look at it and I'm like, what is a great story that I would like to share with someone else?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, that should be written because that's worth telling and someone listening to it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I start. It comes from me, but it's also like, ah, that's a lame experience. No one wants to hear about that.
Yeah.
Um, so I start with that. And then honestly, this is kind of dumb, but I also really like to be clever. Like if I can do it in a very clever way where I think people will be like, wow, that's clever, then I'll definitely write it. So it comes also from a place of narcissism.
Yeah.
Um, or I'm like, God, people are going to think I'm a genius if I do this. And that's kind of how I felt with the first two songs that I put out, Come to Your Senses and Leader of the Pack. I'm like, wow, that's a nifty that's a nifty little saying for that. But
Yeah.
it also described what I was going through at the same time. So Come to Your Senses was about me being angry at the dating scene.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I wrote it like over a year ago and I still kind of feel the same way. Um, so that's in a nutshell what that song is about. But the whole hook of, wake up and come to your senses and come over and talk to me and see that we could be a thing. And naming the five senses in the chorus and like, hear me do this, see me do that. It's like, it's done in a clever, I think, way
Yeah.
that's catchy and memorable. And so it kind of combines that cleverness with like my actual feelings,
Yeah.
which makes it worth telling. It's like
Yeah.
it's worth retelling. So that's kind of where I fall with the songwriting.
That's awesome. And then I wanted to ask you, you released a new single today called Bodyguard. And I wanted to ask you about that. What is the song about? And hopefully we'll get to hear you sing it too, if you don't mind. But, just tell us about how did the release go and, a little bit about that particular song as well.
So again, I had that. All of my relationships in the past pretty much have crashed and burned, pretty bad. so, so Bodyguard is about just about heartbreak. But again, I was like, how can I write this in a witty way? And I started thinking about the word bodyguard, and it's, literally someone who protects you.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know, well, it's someone who guards your body, your person, like guards you from harm. And then I thought, well, what if you took that and you took it literally? And so the chorus is, you were supposed to hold me in your arms, and then I have like you were supposed to dry my eyes, and then you were supposed to protect my heart, but you broke it.
Yeah.
So and you were supposed to guard my body, and you didn't. You broke my heart. So that was the whole idea for that, and I had that whole kind of chorus mapped out before I went into the write. And so it was me, my mom, and my producer co-wrote that song together.
Nice.
And yeah, and it was in Nashville, and we went in, and I had this whole line, and I was like, "Is this dumb? Like, what do you think? Here's what I'm thinking." And Matt has produced, my producer. He's produced some of the early Kane Brown stuff, and he's worked with Lauren Elena and some pop people. So he has a good ear,
Yeah.
and I trust him. And I threw it at him, and he was like, "Yeah, let's go, let's do it."
Nice.
And it didn't take us very long. It took maybe 3 hours. We wrote the whole thing.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, and I wanted this one to be like a '90s big ballad that like Celine Dion or Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey would sing. Um, and I sent Matt like all of these examples because he's a little bit younger than me,
Yeah.
and he didn't grow like I grew up listening to all of them.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and he had no idea what I was talking about. I'm like, I want a '90s power ballad, and he was like, I don't know what that means. So I sent him all this stuff, and I was like, I want like little twinkles and the bells, and you can hear that's in like the '90s songs. It's like I want all of it. I think I sent him like I'll Make Love to You, Boys to Men. I sent him like so many things, and yeah, and then we had Bodyguard, and I think it's like exactly the way that I wanted it, envisioned it to be. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And when you're writing these songs, do they normally take a long time to write? I mean, obviously this one you said it's 3 hours, but I mean, I always wondered that, right? When I was young, I used to write poems and things like that, and I would write something, then put it away, go back to it, change the word, do
Mm.
a couple of things until it was kind of done. Do you do that, or you're the type that will sit down and you have to have it until you're completely finished? You won't leave it until you're alone, until it's all done.
I've done both. I've done both. Like Bodyguard was super quick, and then Come to Your Senses started in Pennsylvania and it ended in Nashville.
Yeah.
So, and that took like maybe a year where we didn't finish it,
Yeah.
and we wrote a verse and the chorus, and then we sat there with it in the right, and we were like, well, now what happens in the second verse? Like, where does it go? We
Yeah.
sat there, and it was like to the point where we were like, my brain felt fried, and I'm like, we're not going to come up with it. It's not going to happen. And we walked from it. And then when I was recording for this EP in Nashville, I had this half written song that I loved, and I was like, again, I was like, Matt, here it is. Like, do you hear anything? Maybe you could help finish it. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And he hopped right on it. We finished it in like an hour, because it only needed that second verse.
Yeah,
So like it depends, and I don't like to push if you can't finish it.
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like you sometimes you need to walk away.
yeah. Yeah, because if you're so focused, sometimes you're so focused on that, and like we're talking about the anthem, if you're so pressured to finish it, you might not have the ideas, right? So walking away, you kind of freshen up your mind a little bit, and then you come back to it. You might have some new, fresh ideas.
Hmm.
Um, I wanted to ask you, you kind of mentioned a little bit of the 90 ballads and things. Who are some of the artists other than um, uh, oh my gosh, her name's escaping me right now. Who are some of the artists that inspire you too, for you when you're writing? And then the other question was, when you're writing songs, is it, do you write the lyrics first and then try to match like the acoustics, the music to it, or is it a combination of both? Like as you're writing, you're kind of trying to figure out what it is.
Hmm. Um, Usually, like everyone is different. It's kind of funny. Like everyone does it differently, but I think I always have, and I don't know why I hear like voices in my head, which maybe I'm crazy. Um, but I usually have the hook, which is like the bump bump, the end of the chorus. I
Yeah,
have that with a little melody in my head. And usually I'll go in with that and I'll sing it to, usually there's like a producer or a track guy or someone who's doing the music. And we kind of try and work it around that. So like leader of the pack or whatever, it's like I'll have, come back the leader of the pack. And I'll kind of just keep like humming it to myself. And I'm not even playing guitar, I just like hear it
yeah,
in my head. And then on the flip side, sometimes I'll go in with that, and the track guy, the producer, he'll be playing a beat or like a mix or something, and it's completely not the cadence that I had. It's not in the key that I had, and I completely throw out the melody and I start singing something else, just kind of vibing with what they're doing.
yeah,
So it really is like a creative process. Like sometimes someone has a whole different perspective that I didn't even think of.
yeah,
Like it's very weird. Like sometimes I'm dead set and I'm very controlling, and I'm like, no, this is what it is. And I and I go in, and they hit me with something great, and I'm like, screw what I had. That's stupid.
yeah,
We're using your beat because that's way cooler.
yeah,
And that's what happened with Leader of the Pack. I did it with his name's Anthony Gallagher, and he's a Live Nation uh, sound engineer.
yeah,
And I was went in with him, and he played me this, like, you can still kind of feel it in the produced track. It's like a 21 Pilots kind of rap. I don't know what it is. It's got synths. I'm not sure. He played me this weird thing and was like, I'm working on this. Like, is this something? And I was like, that sounds like my hook that
yeah,
I've been sitting on. So yeah, it's like that's what I usually do. It's like coming in prepared, but then being cool with like kind of feeling what the other person is doing. If
yeah,
that makes any sense, because
yeah, yeah,
they're writing the song, the story of the song too.
yeah,
So it's, I don't like to silence. That's not cool, because
yeah,
I hate when other writers have done that to me, and it is not fun when you're
yeah,
like, I have a, and they're like, no, Kendall, that's not, no.
yeah,
And then the whole song is written around you, and you feel like you're not even part of it,
yeah,
which sucks. And that's happened to me. So I always try to feed off of everyone in the room, because we're all contributing to the story, and I don't like when people aren't heard. That's not cool. Um, but as far as influences go, yeah, I love Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. That her
Yep.
name escaped me. I'm sorry.
I was gonna help you out, but I was waiting to see if you would come up with it. Taylor Swift, and Whitney Houston they're my like double intertwined favorite.
Okay.
I can't pick a number one. I love Taylor's songwriting, and I love Whitney's voice. So I can't pick a, they're like tied for the top in my mind.
All right.
Um, yeah, so they're my two favorites. But like I said, I like Mariah as far as like the pop '90s stuff goes.
Yeah.
Right now, I still love Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
I went to her Dangerous Woman tour
Yeah.
in Philly, and like for Dangerous Woman, she came out in like leather, like with stiletto boots, and she had pyro on the stage, and it was like, oh my god, I want to be you. It was like the it was amazing. I still love everything that she puts out, and then I like very weird. Um, I don't know. My friend will send me like one-off like bands I've never heard of. That's like indie alt electro rock, and I'm like, what is this? I don't
Yeah.
even know what this is. I don't even know what genre this is. Where it's like you don't. It sounds terrible, but you don't really follow this artist, but like they put out really cool music that you put in your playlist kind of
Yeah.
acts. Where it's like I don't know if I'd pay for $100 ticket to see them yet, but like I dig what they're doing kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And I always keep my feelers out for those because there's a lot of people doing cool stuff where it's like, who would have put, a banjo over a, I don't know. Yeah, people are experimenting, which I think is
Yeah.
cool.
Awesome.
Who do
Well,
you listen to?
I listen to, there's always a running joke in my family because if you put into my iPod, there's everything in there, like everything. And I'll go from country to 70s. Like there's a band called Supertramp. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're
Yeah,
from the 70s. I'm a big Supertramp fan. I'm a big
yeah,
Phil Collins fan, right? So that's a
okay,
90s ballad. But then I'll listen to, rap right now. I'm a big Pitbull fan,
okay.
so I'm all over the place. I think I just like music in general, right? And it's kind of like what you were saying. I have some bands that like I would like one or two of their songs, and they're on my playlist.
Hmm.
Don't necessarily like a whole album, or I'm not a big fan of them, but there's one or two particular songs that I like. But I would say today my favorite artist would be Pitbull, just because we're
Okay.
both bald, and we're
Yeah,
both Latin, we're both bald, so we got that thing going.
yeah.
Going. I'm much
That's a
bigger
good
than he
pick.
is, though. So I'm not Blake. I'm not Blake Shelton size, but much bigger than what Pitbull is.
You could stand in for him.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, do you think we can hear you sing a couple songs?
Yeah. All
Awesome.
right. So, which one should I start with? I could start with. All right. This is the first. This is the first song that I put out last year, off of this EP. It's called "Come to Your Senses," so it is out for people watching. If you would
Awesome.
like to stream it, and I could make 0.0002 cents. Wake up, been waiting all night for you to let up. Quit playing games, it's your move. Put down your bottle, go full throttle, walk up to me. Get out of your head, get a mind says, it might sound crazy, boy. Smell the love, the tinsel of the night, just jump over here. You'll come to your senses. Yeah, act cool with all of your friends, but you can't fool me into thinking that you don't wanna get out in an hour, drive all things itch this crowd. Get out of your head and mind says, tell me how does that sound? Smell the potential of the night, it's just jump over here. Whisper in your ear and pull you closer. Feel my breath on your neck, taste the lips on my lips. You can see where the screw goes. You can jump for the fences. You'll come to your senses. Come to your senses. You'll come to.
Awesome. Cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
I love your voice too. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
And I like, I heard obviously what you said earlier about the senses, and it's pretty cool how you were able to fit that in. That's really cool. So
yeah, we did all 5. It was like smell the potential of the night, hear me do this, see me do that. I think we we did all of them.
Yeah,
we did all 5 of them. We got them all in there. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep. Thank you for noticing me being clever. But yeah, that was the I put it out last June already, almost a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask, what, if people are looking to download your songs, or where can they go to get your songs?
So it should be on whatever streaming platform you use. So it should be on like Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Amazon, Deezer, all that stuff. I think it's on Tidal. It's on everything, Pandora, wherever. It's just Kendal with 1 L.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it comes up if you put 2 in. So 1 L. Yeah.
I think I almost made that mistake a little bit earlier when it was announced on the live. I was like,
oh no.
Yeah,
I would have been so mad at you. Would have sent you an angry DM. You misspelled my name. No, it happens. It happens like all the time. And I also think people who know me spell it with 2 L's, and they're like, my phone autocorrects it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to have to believe you and not be mad.
Hey, at least your name is not very hard to spell. Your last name is not very hard to spell, right? Now everybody can't never spell my last name, right? Too many vowels in there, and it confuses people. So.
It is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of vowels. It's like E-I. No, I'm not gonna embarrass myself. I'm gonna stop right there.
Yeah.
There's 2 R's
right
though. There's 2 R's in it, right?
No, there's only 1 R. No, 2 R's. Yeah. They're not together, but there's 2 R's. Yeah.
Oh, see, no, I was wrong. I thought they were together.
So, what do you think? Another one? Should we?
Oh, sure.
Should we do the leader of the pack now?
Yes. This is my favorite one.
And this was the one that took 3 hours.
Yeah, this was like real short.
Awesome.
Yeah, I knew exactly what I wanted to say with this one. This is about everyone in my life who was ever mean to me. Me in the dark, out in the woods, you thought you could leave me from the stars. They're closing in now. I can hear you cry, let me for dead with nothing else be said. Give me a second thought, say traps and I was caught on my way to the side. Ain't gonna stop till she lets me out. I want around and save you now. If you throw me to the wolves, I'll come back, come back. I'll come back, the leader of the pack. The leader of the pack. The leader survive. I'm the predator on the chase, and you're the rain. I can't run from you now. I'll hunt you down. Hey, you left me for dead, nothing else be said. Give me a second thought, say traps and I was caught on my way to the side. Ain't gonna stop till see you up and see you out. Walk around and see you now. And you throw me to the wolves. I'll come back, come back. I'll come back, the leader of the pack. The leader of the pack. The leader of the pack. meds and give me a second thought. Set your traps and I was caught on my way to the top. Ain't gonna stop till she weapons me out and wander around and sing it now. If you throw me into the woods, I'll come back, come back. I'll come back, come back. If you throw me to the moon, I'll come back, the leader of the pack. The leader of the pack. The leader of the pack.
Nice. I like it. And that one, you have a little bit of a, I don't want to say anger, but there's, there's, it's not as, the other one you're no, like, a little brokenhearted, blah, blah, blah. This one, it's more like, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna end up on top, right? And so,
Yeah, this one is like my anthem. It's like my anthem song, and it's so cool because a ton of like sports teams and stuff have been playing it.
yeah.
Which is
Well,
really cool.
I was gonna say that because it's kind of like it's it's an overcoming something, right? It sounds like it's a song about overcoming something. So it's cool for that, for sports where if you have lost before and you're coming back, or and ending up on top, end up in first on top.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Before Corona hit, I had like a ton. Like the Philly spring training played it. It was
really?
it was amazing. It was so cool. I took a video of my song playing in that, like, however many people fit in there, 9,000 people. I don't remember, but it was like, yo, I was like, that's my song. That's me. But yeah, I mean, and it's, if you listen to the produced version of it, like it's got like I wanted really heavy bass and heavy subs in it. Like the bottom end, it's like, I played in my car and it's like booming. It's, I love it. It's amazing. And then on top, it's like banjo and fiddle. And it's like this weird pop country hybrid thing. Like I think it works. It's my own song, so I would say that. But
yeah,
I think
you have to believe in you first and your song first before anybody else does, right? So
hey, I got checked on that.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah,
Awesome.
I wanted that one to be very strong.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and you can tell just by the way that you start singing a little, it's your voice is a little bit stronger. You can already kind of tell that with that one. So
cool.
So should we do the new one that came out today?
Yeah, this is the hardest one to sing, so I was saving it for last too.
All right. And this one is also available for people to buy if they.
It is. It came out today. It's called Bodyguard. Right. Kendal with one L.
All right.
All right, this might get a little loud. Never ever showed up at home. You always let the bottle say control. It was never ever just you and I. When I asked where you were, boy, you lied. You should have been here, but you weren't here. You were supposed to take the tears right from my eyes when I need you to rise. Keep me safe here in your arms, so I would come to know how you failed to protect me. Instead, boy, you wrecked me. How could you break my heart? Bodyguard. Never ever watched over me while you were out. It was killing me. Never ever thought you'd be the bully, and I'd be the one who took the hit. Why didn't
awesome.
Ah!
Really, really cool. I
Thank
like
you.
it.
Thank you. Yeah,
I'll
that
have
one's
to.
hard to concentrate and play at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to download all these and hear not the acoustic versions too, but hear their regular versions as well. So
I'm curious to see because you heard these first acoustic.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm curious what you have to let me know what you think
I will. I
when
sure
you hear
will.
the produced versions
I will.
because they're like really different.
Yeah,
I wonder how they compare.
I'll definitely let you know, and
Cool.
I'll let the world know what I think too. So.
Oh no. Be like, don't listen to these. And you have to rank them then too.
All right,
Tell me
between the
which
three of
one.
them.
Yeah, put them in
All right.
order of uh most like to like you still love it, but not as much as
I
number one.
feel like the order that we played, it's like you like you started getting angrier at the songs. You know, like the first one, you're like, yeah, you know, I'm a little hurt. The second one, you're like, okay, I'm getting really hurt. The third one, you're like, all right, I'm really, really hurt, right? Like,
That's interesting.
right? We went on that order that it kind of went up, right?
And that's the order of actually chronologically the releases. Isn't
Maybe
that interesting?
maybe I'm into
Whoa.
something here. Maybe you're getting angry.
You'll see me in the news. You'll be like, oh no, she snapped. No, but that's very interesting. I didn't even realize that.
Well, it's not that you're angry, you know. Obviously, just the tone of the songs
No,
get
I know what you mean. Yeah,
yeah,
like more passionate.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah. Like on the third one, you know, I was almost getting mad at the guy, right? Because it's like, you know, you should have been here, you weren't here, you broke my, you know. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
what a
Like
douchebag, right? Like,
accusing, like
yeah,
accusatory. Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
So
That is interesting though that subconsciously that's the order I put them out.
yeah,
Yeah. Huh.
awesome.
Well, the last two I did 5 songs,
Yeah,
and so this is the third one I released, and the next one is well the last two. One is a dance track,
yeah,
and the other one is like a I don't even know if it's 90s. It's like a 2000s kind of like bump and grind kind of vibe.
yeah.
So neither of those are angry. So
All right.
I'm gonna drop the ball with the next two.
Well,
People will be
let's.
disappointed.
Can we hear one of them? Can we hear the 2000 ones?
You can hear the other one. I haven't played it all yet.
All right.
The dancey one. So I'm like saving that. But um, I have played the other one. I don't know if you'll feel that bump and grind vibe on acoustic, but okay. I'm gonna bring it way down. Boy, we called it quits the last time, and here I am again. I can't say why. Knocking on your door like every time before, knowing that we're better off, better off. All my friends say that you're no good. You never loved me like you should. Girl, you dodged a bullet, you know it was never worth it. Yeah, you're better off, better off. I got it through my head, but my heart just can't forget. We were better on a hot night, red wine. Boy, I could use a drink. Better on a king size all night. Put your hands all over me. Better on makeup, this is why we break up. Knowing that the overs won't ever last long. We're good undercovers, we're bad for each other. Boy, we should just move on. We'd be better off if we weren't better on, better on, better on, better on. If we weren't better on. Are you gonna ask me inside? Don't make me stand here all night. Everything I got on my chest, your favorite dress, I'm thinking is better off, better off. We were better on a hot night, red wine. Boy, I could use a drink. Better on a king size all night. Put your hands all over me. Better on makeup, this is why we break up. Knowing that the overs will never last long. We're good undercovers, but bad for each other. Boy, we should just move on. We'd be better off if we weren't better on, better on, better on, better on. should just move on. We'd be better off if we weren't better on, better on, better on, better on. If we weren't better on.
Yeah, very different than the other three you sang, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They're
So
very
that
different.
one, when I put that one out, it'll bring it on.
Yeah, I think leave that one for last, and people don't think that you end up on a mad note, right? You're like, all right, she's back now, you know.
Yeah, because the dancey one is kind of almost a love song.
Yeah.
So that's true.
So it goes to the angry level, and then it normalizes, kind
Do I?
of.
Is this like uh, a branding like consulting meeting? Like,
Yeah, it
are you gonna
sounds like,
send me a
right? Like I'm
bill
not.
after this? That's
Well,
$200.
listen, if it works, I'll take the credit. If it doesn't work, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right, fair game, fair game.
So
But yeah, so that's one of the options. Yep,
awesome.
yep.
Well, Kendall, I wanted to take the time again to thank you for doing this. It's been awesome. It's really been cool to get to know you a little bit better and hear some of your songs. I don't know if you have a message for the people watching. If you want to leave a message for them.
Just thank you for watching. I hope that if you liked any of the songs that I played acoustic, please go check them out on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. Really, really appreciate it. Truly. I know I joked about the 0.22 cents or whatever, but for me, it's about people actually listening to what I put out. Like, I don't really care about the amount of money I get from these streams. I know artists have been kind of crusading, I guess like Congress or whoever is making the laws for these streaming royalties, saying it's not nearly as much as the songwriters, the artists should be making. But in the meantime, please just give it a listen. Just spreading my music. That's really important to me. I don't really give a crap about the money for me. Like if no one listens to the content, if no one, if you're an artist, if no one listens, then what's the point?
Yeah.
You write, like I write these stories to share them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my big message. Please go check out my songs. And if you're on YouTube, Twitter, anything like that, Facebook, I can't follow back on Facebook and YouTube, but I try to follow everyone back on Twitter and Instagram. So
Yeah.
follow me on there. And thanks so much. Really enjoyed talking to you and getting to know you as well. So
Yeah,
thank you.
awesome. No, and just so you know, I'll have also I'll do a screen recording of this, and I'll have the video on Facebook on my Facebook page tomorrow, and then
Oh,
I'll
cool.
share with you as well, and then I'll have on YouTube as well, so that we can keep sharing. Because maybe down the road people want to watch this again, so then we can share the link.
That sounds awesome. You can
Perfect.
crop or not crop out that awkward beginning of me trying to figure out my phone.
All
Wouldn't be mad if you cropped that part out.
right. Sounds good.
Unless
All right.
you would like to keep it in.
I'll think about it tonight. I'll see. Maybe.
I was like, oh God, please work. Please let this work. But no, I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for watching and tuning in.
Thank you. We'll
Yep.
talk soon.
Yeah, sounds good.